I'm back with a new video on Chipko Study Corner. So today I'll be dealing with the chapter Management of Natural Resources. So it is actually half biology and half chemistry. So let's get into the video. Before that, what is natural resources? Or what are resources? Resources are something or are materials that are useful or that has a utility. So here, what are the examples? You can give me examples in my comment box also. Examples of resources are phones, minerals, water, air, technology, then what else? Chair, table, all of these are resources. So what are natural resources? Natural resources are resources that are available in the nature naturally. It is not man-made. And next thing that we have to discuss is, why is natural resources important for human life? Because without, you just think of the very basic thing, that's a safety pin, or leaf, the basic thing, food. Food consists of salt. Without salt, you cannot have your food, doesn't taste good. So salt is a mineral, that's a natural resource. I mean, food is a resource, air is a natural resource, all of them are resources. Then what else are resources? The metals, that is the basic safety pins to railway tracks to the car we travel in, all are made of some or the other natural resource. So why should we manage it, or why should we have to maintain the amount or regulate the use of minerals? The first one, minerals are not evenly distributed in India. It is unevenly distributed, or resources are unevenly distributed. Like if there's a person has, like, let's say 1 liter of water, whereas another person in the same place is suffering or is having a very tough time with water scarcity. That is one example. So why should we manage water resources, or why should we manage resources? That is our next topic, and I'll give you an example. Kevin, a boy, he's going on a trip. It's a summer hot day and he's going on a trip to Himachal. So then when he goes to the Himachals, then he has to walk up the hills. He has only 1 bottle of water. So he has to sustain that for the whole day, because there's no other means that he can get water. So if it is finished, that's the end of it. The same thing is with the resources. If the resources are finished, that is the end of it. You might survive for 1 or 2 days more, but you can't survive for a longer period. So that is why management of natural resources is important. And how can you manage natural resources? You might have heard about the very common thing, the 3R, the reduce, the reuse, the recycle. So what is reduce? Reduce means you should make it into a minimum level, not increase it. You have to decrease the use. So how can you reduce? What can you reduce? You can reduce the use of plastics, you can reduce pollution. There are many things that you can reduce. So reduce it as much as possible. Then the second R, reuse. What can you reuse? You can use the polythene bags again and again, rather than buying new polythene bags when you go out for shopping, or leave about the polythene bags. Paper can be reused by, if you use a paper to make a paper you have written, and you can make it into an envelope to store your own personal things. Then you can reuse. What are things that you then? One thing you have to do is that you shouldn't buy things that is just buy one use and throw, because that is use and throw things pollute our India. Our Mother Earth is actually suffering. It was very clean and was very pure before we coming to Earth and we polluting it. So we have to maintain the Earth's stability, or the Earth's pollution level should be decreased by us. So how can we do that? The next R is recycle. You can recycle paper, you can recycle metals, you can recycle plastics. Many things is there that you can recycle. So the reduce, reuse and recycle is a very important part for the management of natural resources. Then next thing that we are going to learn about is what is pollution? How is pollution happening? What all are being polluted? Why is pollution harmful? These all are the next questions. So, now we'll deal about water pollution first. You know about the famous river Ganga. Ganga is actually considered as a holy place. Earlier, people used to say, if you take a dip in the Ganga river, you will sustain, or you will get, you will be equal to God, or your sins will be washed away. You are washed, you are pure. But now, the present situation of Ganga, if you take a dip in it, it's sure, I mean not sure, but still, you will get a disease or you will die because it's such polluting. People wash their clothes, they do their daily activities over there, they bath themselves, they wash their cattle, then the factories put out the untreated chemical effluents to it. Then what else? All these plastics and all, tourists come there and throw these plastics in water, etc. But these all are not proper ways of disposal actually. This polluting of water, or how can you know the water is polluted? First thing, you can see its color. Secondly, the coliform bacteria. Coliform bacteria is actually a friendly bacteria as well as it's dangerous. It's friendly when it's inside your intestine. Coliform bacteria is present inside your intestine. But if it is found in water, it shows that the water is polluted. Then next, the pH of the water. The pH of the water might differ. It might be acidic, it might be basic, or it might be, sometimes it might be alkaline. It's highly polluted. If it's highly polluted, the pH paper can show you how the water is. Then, even people look with litmus paper, acidic and basic. It might be neutral, alkaline. All these can cause damage to our body also. So we learned what are the causes of pollution. So what have government done to save, or what have government done to help the river Ganga or the other rivers? So first, the Ganga Action Plan. What was the Ganga Action Plan? It is GAP, GAP. So the Ganga Action Plan was to reduce pollution in river Ganga. It isn't still strictly followed because there are no strict laws or regulations on it. People are not given proper punishments if they throw things out or they pollute the river Ganga. Then the next one, the Narmada River Bachao Andolan. So the Narmada Bachao Andolan is also a policy that is taken by the government to promote or to conserve our river Narmada, and that is also a plan by the government. So these plans have to be implemented very, very carefully, or else it's very dangerous. So next. Now, we're dealing about stakeholders. What is stakeholders? Or what is forest resources? Or what is wildlife? Forest, wildlife and all are different things that is found in the nature. That is also a natural resource. So forest is known as the biodiversity, or a place where it's a hot spot of biodiversity because there is a lot of varieties of plants and animals. This forest is rich with fauna and flora. These fauna and flora are the reasons for the existence of Mother Earth. Now these forests have been cut down. And who are stakeholders, and why? Who all are the stakeholders? Who are stakeholders? What is stakeholders? These are the next questions that we'll be dealing about. Stakeholders are the people who has the control or who has some influence to the forest. So, and who all are the stakeholders we'll be discussing. First stakeholder that we have to learn is the local people. The local people, of course, the people who's living in and around that area or in and around the forest area, who is getting access to these materials in it. They use their woods, they use it for cooking, they use the fruits, nuts, tubers, everything from the forest. So the local people play a very important role. Secondly, the industrialists. Why do the industrial people come for or reach out to forest? They reach out to forest because it's actually because they need wood or they need land. They cut down the trees to build their factories, or they take the woods to build the factories. So these are the two people, and the third person who is the environment enthusiasts. they who protect the environment. Have you heard about the Chipko movement? Chipko movement was a movement that was taken by the local people, or the people who was the environmental enthusiasts, to protect the trees. So they hugged every tree and stood when the people came to cut off the trees. They told, if you want to cut the tree, you have to cut us also. There was many people who lost their lives in this movement. So this is the third people, and the fourth person, or the fourth category of people are the forest department. Because the forest department in the government is the people who look after these forests. Actually, they have got the works to do. They are the ones who look after the the maintenance of the forest without being littered. The pine forests in Vagaman and Kerala, they are looked by the forest departments. There are many places. There are many wildlife sanctuaries, many other biosphere reserves. Everything that is biosphere reserves and all are all protected by the government. Government take initiative for this. So government also has a very major role. So we know who all are the stakeholders, and why do stakeholders influence the forest? Because they are the people who are really having the connection, or they are the people who are really involved to the forest. Forest is a source of energy. Forest gives us many energy resources. Forest has small rivers and lakes which gives us energy resources. And we learned how to conserve these forests. That is, the first main people are the stakeholders. They are the influential people. They are looking after the forest for a long time. These people can be good or bad for these forests, or for the management of forest, or for the conservation of forest. Because these industrialists cut down the forest to build their factories or other materials they use, that disturbs the habitat of the fauna or flora in the forest. So these flora and fauna are very important. If flora was not there, fauna will not exist. So this is interlinked. Now, how to conserve energy resources? So the basic things are there. So we will start from our homes. What are the things that you can do to conserve energy? How can you start from your home? You might think, what can happen if I start? If you start, it is good for your family. If your family is secured, then others will follow your path. So first, plant trees. Secondly, switch off lights when not in use. That saves electricity. Turn off taps when not in use. That is also an example, or it's a very good method that you can conserve water. Then use solar cookers rather than using electrical cookers. You go out rather than playing in phones, because that is bad for your health, and the phone needs electricity to be charged. So that is also one. Then encourage biogas rather than other fuels, because these fuels, CNG and all, are extracted from the earth. Biogas is something that we can, or animal waste and plant waste are decomposed to form. So anyway, these has to get decomposed. So if this can form an energy, that is very good. No. So now we learned how this conservation of resources and how to conserve energy and all. Now we have discussed about all what is the resource development and all. But what is sustainable development? Sustainable development is something it's a form of development in which you conserve the resources for the future generation also. You keep them in a safe, or it is safe for the future generations. You use it in a systematic way, or you use it for only the correct need. You don't waste them. So sustainable development is a development without any harm to the nature, or it is a development which is beneficial for the future generation also. So now we have to learn about water. Water for all. So what is water? It's H2O. It is a very common thing, and it is very essential for your sustenance. So water can be friendly, water can be deadly, because water, if you don't have water for about 4 or 5 days, you'll die. And in the floods that came, which hit Kerala the last 2-3 months ago, many lives were lost. So water plays as a friend and as an enemy too at the same time. So about water, like what is water? Why is water essential? Water is a liquid which can satisfy your thirst. Or that is what a common thing that people say. So why is water essential? Why is it to be conserved? Because water, we say our earth is filled, or 3/4 of the earth is water. Then why do people have the scarcity of water? It is because we have only 1% out of that 3/4 which is fresh water, or which is water without any salinity. Because all the others are salt water. If you have to purify salt water, it takes a long time. So there is only a very little amount of salt, of water available. So how can you, like, now we just discussed what water is, like how can you stop pollution of water, or what is the cause of pollution? I told you as first, the effluents of the factories, the chemicals and pesticides used in the fields. When heavy rain comes, they are washed away to the water. Then what else? When waste is dumped, our water gets polluted. Now water is not for a single person, it's for all. Water for all, the heading itself says. Water is not only yours, it's a right for everyone. Drinking water, pure drinking water. If you don't have that, you get many diseases. Now, next thing, how people store water. Water is available in lakes, rivers, ponds, deltas, then backwaters. What else? Sources like wells, you get in wells. Then underground water, there are many other ways like tube wells, etc. So these are the sources of water, where if someone asks you which is the main source, that is rain. Rain is the main source of water. And nowadays we know where the water is available, how to manage water. You have water harvesting, water conservation, everything. So first thing that we are going to deal about is dams. So what is dam? Dams are also called as multi-purpose river valley system or projects. So what is this dams? Dams are water storing, very big storing buildings, you can say. It is in a higher altitude where water is stored. It is used for generating electricity. It is used for actually dams can be used for fishing. It is for it is for irrigation, and what else? It is used for every water purposes. Even for drinking, you get water from there. Generation of electricity, all basic things from dam. Even enthusiasm. Many people get their free time there, sitting there, enjoying the breeze or enjoying the beauty of the water. So dams are very important. As you know, Jawaharlal Nehru told, like dams are the architecture of modern India, because dams provide many opportunities, even employment opportunities increase, because dams and canals, they can move, they can do for transports, they can do for fishing, they can do for electricity generation. All these comes under employment opportunities. So now we know what dams are, and now next thing that we have to learn about is water harvesting. What is water harvesting? Water harvesting is a method, or it is a system of conserving water. How do you harvest water? Harvest means to get out the product. So you can conserve water by collecting the rainwater that comes through pipes, PVC pipes. It is like rainwater harvesting is called in different names in different places. Like you call it as Kuls in Himachal Pradesh, Nadis, then Tankas. There are many names, that Kuls, Gulls, everything are the names that is given for water harvesting. So water harvesting, it's a means by which you can conserve water for your later uses, because this rainwater is being like waste out, or these rainwater which fall on the earth where the farming is done, they wash away the fertilizers, making the water polluted. So water harvesting is a very good method of conserving. So now we learned about water harvesting and methods and the different names. The names of these things are given in the textbook, page number 275 to 276. So these are the page numbers. Just read through it. You will get the names. Even if I get time, I'll put in the description below. So next thing is like the check dams. I forgot about to tell about check dams. Check dams are small dams which are after the very big dams, because if there was no check dams, there wouldn't have been a proper management of dams. That is the one reason why that is told to be one reason there was floods around Kerala, and check dams has to be managed properly. Now we come to the next resource or next thing, that is coal and petroleum. The natural vegetation that was long back ago is buried under the soil under high pressure and high heat, which then it's converted to fossils. See, so these fossils such as coal and petroleum are very good sources of energy. These are used in vehicles. They are used as fuels for cooking. You have eaten the barbecue and your shawarma and all, which has coal in it. When you cook that, then petroleum is used in your cars as starters. Then petroleum, diesel, kerosene, all these are oils that is extracted from these fossils. So we know what fossils are, and these fossils are carbon. They are made of carbon. So carbon dating or carbon is a complex thing that is present inside this coal and petroleum. When these coal and petroleum are combusted in the presence of oxygen, they release carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide are gases which can cause a lot of damage. Carbon monoxide is poisonous, whereas carbon dioxide can cause global warming. Now, how can you reduce the pollution with the use of coal and petroleum? How can you reduce pollutions? So the first thing is that how you can go by walking. Actually, walking is now considered as a second class thing, but walking is a good exercise, as well as it is a method that you can save your Mother Earth. Then secondly, what else can you do? You can use CNG vehicles. Then you can use cycles. You can use and then another one is CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons. They're used in the fridges and in the bulbs and all before. Now our country is a place where CFCs are being prohibited or it's not being used. So CFCs are not being able to broken down, or just not being able to break down, because it is a very highly stable substance. So that can deplete our ozone layer. These are all the things that you can do to conserve our Mother Earth. So I hope if you get a small inspiration, please start doing everything that I told you. You can plant a tree today itself if you want, if you feel like. And friends, this is the end of this chapter. And if you have any queries, please do comment me and tell me about any doubts you have, or any suggestion you have to give it to me, or any complaints, please comment me. And please do not forget to subscribe, like, and hit the small notification bell button next to that subscribe button. You can see that only if you subscribe my channel. And after that, please share, comment also. Bye bye. See you on my next video.